Peace.
Peace.
This is Joshua Miller Law, Mr. PhD. You're just now entering the cipher called Real2reel360. K-Wise.
Peace, God.
Bring that beat in, kid.
Indeed.
Peace.
Yeah. What's going on, party people? Welcome to the Real2reel360 show. Let's get it in.
We do the knowledge and wisdom so you can understand. Real2reel360 shows in full command. We changing the game for how it all was taught. From bondage to freedom to an independent thought. Yo, the show is here to bring about a change for real. To lighten everyone so we all know the deal. 360 degrees is a fact. We created the show to give our love back to our communities so we can know what's going on and give them the support from knowledge to born. So if you're ready to learn, then it's time to go. Sit back and relax and enjoy your show. Peace.
Peace, peace. True indeed, true indeed. What's going on, party people? Peace to Allah's mighty 5% nation of gods and earth, to all human families of the planet Earth. I bid you one love and grace. This is DJ K-Wise Allah, a.k.a. Kato, the Black Superhero. Without further ado, welcome to the next episode of the Real2reel360 show. We're just going to blaze it right on in right now, and I'm going to bring on my partner in crime, my brother of the Most High, you know what I mean? So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please let me bring on my specialty, novelty, expert of all, the one and only Joshua Miller Allah, a.k.a. Mr. PhD, and it don't stand for pretty handsome dude, ladies.
That's a lie. That's a lie. That's what it stands for.
Peace, bro.
Peace. Today we're scheduled to have Positive K. Last minute, we have went through a situation where his old earth has been rushed to the hospital, and he'll be able to. Probably will be able to pop in for a few minutes, but I want to send some healing grace and positive energy to Positive K's family at this moment in time, because one thing about the man, he take care of his parents. They have a certain age, and he has to be part of their caretaker. So with all respects due to Positive K, but for the most part, like today, we did an interview. We was interviewed for a change. Somebody took time out to interview us, and I thought that was a very interesting interview. Shout out to Miss Dee Dee Walker. Appreciated the time on her show, and appreciate her allowing us to come on and give our thoughts on certain subjects. You know what I mean? It was peace. What did you think about it, Kay?
Oh man, listen, I was it's funny to be on the flip side now, you know, when after all doing what we doing, and then here it is our turn to be on the seat. And I think it was a great moment, you know, because like I said, it gives us a chance, as I was talking with you earlier, gives us the chance to see how we are in turn when we are the interviewees. And peace and blessings, Ms. Brooks, how are you? To sit back and answer the questions instead of giving the questions, you know what I mean? And the topic was straight. It was straight. I thought that was a pretty good topic. At first, I was kind of skeptical about building on the R. Kelly joint, but it actually turned out all right for me. You know what I'm saying? How'd you feel?
Well, you know what I mean? I would say, like, even with now, having more thoughts of the conversation of the situation with Robert Kelly, it's very interesting that when you look back over periods in time when we were growing up, how young ladies were being dating older men back then. Like, we was in school and dudes was pulling up to the school. They were grown men. They was out of school. They had jobs. They had apartments. They had, you know what I mean? They was in college or whatever the case may be, and they still was dating females that was 15 and 16 years old. And they was in their 20s, and nobody ever said anything. So, like, when we was talking about on the show, like, that's community dysfunction. Oh yeah, she said she's playing Positive K.
yeah,
man.
Peace,
You know what I'm saying? Peace and blessings to Positive K and his family. Like I said again, his mother was rushed to the hospital, and there's nothing that we can do, but to say we hope all things are going well with him and his family.
To
Now,
break, I think we need to break the language barrier down a little more simplicity. When we speak of when you hear us say certain things, and some of y'all may get confused, but when he said old earth, he was referring to Positive K's mother. So when you hear some of us, the language of the gods, we talk about our old earths or our earths or queens, we represent the universal, beautiful black female in a proper perspective and order. So we do a lot of things sometimes because that's just our native tongue, and sometimes people be like, what they mean, what they say, let's rewind. Can we rewind that? Yeah, I
well,
mean, so,
the language itself. If anybody understand anything about the mothers of civilization,
right,
the origins of the woman here in the wilderness of North America, the um, the origins of the woman on this planet. I mean, she's naturally the queen. She's naturally the earth because she's able to reproduce and absorb the light and energy from the sun that, what I'm saying, bring forth things that we see today, trees, plants, and all other stuff. But when it comes down to certain aspects, our language within itself, peace, 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 God. Our language,
peace, God, words, one, see them, okay.
um, our language is a language of peace. You know what I'm saying? And we know that I got to okay.
Okay.
But that's what it is. So, we just have to respect the fact that, what I'm saying, everybody doesn't know our language. So sometimes we get caught up when it's just us speaking or we speaking to one another that we don't realize there's other individuals that's around. But like we're saying back far as the R. Kelly situation,
Yeah.
um, we were the community is dysfunctional because we accepted it. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of times you see 15, 16-year-old girls dating 21, 22-year-old dudes. You know what I'm saying? And nobody never said nothing. You know what I mean? Nobody never said anything. When he started doing it, and it's not justifying it at all because it's wrong all across the board. When he started doing it, nobody never said anything. When he started pulling up to the high schools and trying to date, you know what I'm saying? Right, born, it was normal. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When he's as a grown man pulling up to the high school, you know what I mean? And nobody's saying anything. Why is a 25-year-old man, 27-year-old man, 28-year-old man trying to hang out with 15-year-old girls? That doesn't make sense. You
Yep.
know what I'm saying? At some point in time, you have to uh, take the BS out of everything. You know what I'm saying? So,
You know, to add on exactly what you said, that I thought about it. You just took me back to that day, child, because I remember back in high school where some of the elder statesmen that we would know who was out there, doing their thing, being they street pharmacists or however, whatever was making it grinding, and they would come up, they would shoot their whips up into the high school and or the motorcycle joints when the groups with the motorcycles, and they pull up, and all of a sudden, the girls that we was trying to holler at, oh,
uh-huh.
that's my man out there. Like, what? So it was like it was a street respect to know when these people would pull up and the girls be like, they going as they be like, oh man, big brother got him. And it was like you said, it was normal, it was normalized as the God said, so nobody really spoke upon it. And then the funny thing is, like you saying too, knowing this was an everyday occurrence in most high schools during our time and era.
Right.
The principal, the teachers, the guidance counselors were outside
Mm-hmm.
watching.
Mm-hmm.
And when we get on the bus or whatever, and they still out there, they see that these grown men are out here. They wouldn't say nothing. They wouldn't even interfere. Some of them were fearful of certain individuals. So again, we look at the examination of what it was during those times and who was who back then
Mm-hmm.
versus like you say. But everything you saying is right and exact in the pawns of R. Kelly and his timeline and situation. Because we always would go back and forth talk about we got to analyze the what happened. the what was what.
Mm-hmm.
Because tragedy can only occur from a cause to give it effect.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to examine, okay, like we talked about, R. Kelly had an issue growing up. He was violated, as a young child. But my question would be, how long did that go on in his life?
That's the thing. Like we always make excuses for
Mm-hmm.
why individuals do whatever they do, right? When you say like an abused child, right,
Mm-hmm.
or you live in the hood and you see gunshots or you see people shot every day, do that make you want to pick up the gun and go shoot somebody? No, that's a choice.
It's
See,
always a choice. It's always a
it's
choice,
always a
right?
choice. So every day you have an opportunity. Like
Well, let me
Jay
ask you this.
said,
Let me ask you this, and I want to answer because I think it's very vital what you said. I want to go back to that. You say it's a choice, but what
mhm.
if it was something that was forced upon where your choice was taken away, and,
Now,
and that still left a major psychological point?
even with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even with certain situations where individuals' uh, choice was taken at a moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we can talk about, i.e., being raped,
Mm-hmm.
and all these things, right?
Right.
But that moment happened. But do that cause you to be overly sexualized growing up as an adult? No, that don't. That don't put you in a situation where you feel like you got to, what I'm saying, be a skeezer for the rest of your life or a
Mm-hmm.
slut puppy the rest of your life. That's not what it is.
Yeah.
We all have choices, but we get ourselves or put ourselves in a situation where we make excuses for a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? Just
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because a person is treated you bad, don't mean that you have to go out and treat someone else bad. Just because a person snuffed you or robbed you or whatever the case may be, or even robbed you of your innocence, do not make you have to go out and reciprocate the same thing to someone else. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole thing. When we're dealing with stuff, and that's the reason why we had the mental health shows that we did have like last month, is to show that there's a process of healing from it and being able to to grow past it. See, we sit there and we get stuck in a situation and we always hold on to that and make that our crutch. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We have to stop being, enabled by things that happen. We have to, heal from it and move forward. You know what I'm saying? Peace, God.
Peace, God.
Also
Peace.
too, Duquan, his man want going to do the security for the show down there in Darlington, but we'll build on that. The whole thing is you cannot always make an excuse for doing wrong. You can't. There's a choice. Jay Prince said in an interview that I was watching, every morning you wake up with a chance and a choice.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So knowing this, you have an opportunity every day to right your wrong or to reverse the polarity of the things that you did yesterday. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And that's something that we as a people, we don't sit there and do. That's just like the stuff that I used to do when I was a teenager, stuff that I used to do when I was in my 20s and my 30s or whatever the case may be. I don't do in my 40s going into my 50s. You know what I'm saying? Because of the fact that if I'm still doing the same thing that I did in my teenage years, because of the reflection of the things I was going through in my 40s, then I wasted 30 plus years of my life. You understand me? So that's not something that you do. Yes, you know what I'm saying? It's horrific to hear that he was molested, him and his brother was molested. You know what I'm saying? But now this is another thing. They wasn't molested by men. They was molested by an older female cousin.
Right.
Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So being the fact that they was molested by an older female cousin, that's something that they needed help from.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're and to me, it behooves me that the person that molested you was older than you, but the individuals that you wanted to deal with were 20, 30 years younger than you. And that was because you wanted to control the narrative of what's going on. And instead of sitting there and really doing the knowledge and saying, I need help, or what is it that about me that I can't deal with women of my own peer group or my own age group?
You know, that goes back to, as you say, God, that goes back to the point of during those times and eras of growing up, talking 60s and the 70s to 80s era. We were all living in a timeline according to keeping family secrets secret. You know what I mean? You know, never to really discuss a situation. Or if we did try to talk about it, it was ignored by our elders or family members and say, no, she's not like that, or he's not like that. You might be mistaken. So you getting hit from here and you getting knocked up from here because nobody's listening to you. So what we do, we revert back to being in that closet, keeping all that negative energy down. And it's building. Every time something happens, we go to the closet and throw it in there. And it's climbing and it's climbing and it's climbing to one day the closet is so full. And then the moment that door burst open, all hell breaks loose. And everybody then is like, what's his problem? What's her problem? Why is she acting like that? Why did he do that? You know what I'm saying? When the signs of were given earlier to say, hey, I got an issue. I need to talk. I should be able to come to my parents, should be able to come to my brother, should be able to talk to my sister of anything that happens. Or, you know, but we always remember the old school saying was, what goes on in the home stays in the home. We don't need to discuss that. So again, we got so many dilemmas and dysfunctions in our systems that we even pass down some of that through our DNA mind structure within some of our own kids.
But you know, the thing about that is, right, and I'm looking at what Born said, mothers not believing their daughters. What the situation is the mothers are in situations where they have become dependent on someone financially, and they're not willing to allow someone to put them back in a situation where they're in struggle mode. You know what I mean? So they're not going to believe whatever the case may be just to hold on to a certain financial status. See, and that's the problem. We're allowing money to be more than what our children are.
The value. That's what I said.
So when you start talking about that type of situation where, you know what I'm saying, you should be able to come to, you know what I'm saying, your parents, and your parents not believing you. The reality is they're looking at the dollar amount. They're looking at this, that, and the third, and they're not looking at their children. And that's the issue. So it goes right back to the dysfunction that us as a people have been going through. You know what I'm saying? And you're right, Born, is placing value on the wrong things.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
We have become so materialistic that that's what it's more so about.
We say MOE, money over everything.
Money over everything. And the sad thing about life is we say to people, I'm going to give my children something I never had, right? Majority of us came from broken homes. Our parents were separated, whatever the case may be, and we grew up in single mother homes, right? The thing that you didn't have, it wasn't money, because you got everything that you needed. You got food, clothing, and shelter. You had Nintendo, Atari. You know what I'm saying? Everybody had a Nintendo and Atari. I don't care how poor you was. You know what I'm saying? I don't care how, you know what I'm saying? You had Sega Genesis and all this other stuff during that period of time or what have you. Right? ColecoVision and all that. And Dad, we were telling our age. But the reality of it is you didn't have a dad. You didn't have a father. You know what I mean? That's something that you should want to give your children. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, getting your butt kicked.
Absolutely. Yeah, all for the negative reasons. Yeah.
You know what I mean? The reality of it is we sit here and we allow materials to raise our children. We allow TV to raise our children. We allow the radio to raise our children. And all the things that you see on media, social media, is negative. Now, you know what I'm saying? I don't, you know what I'm saying, have issues. If you're gay, you're gay, you're homosexual, homosexual. But this wasn't the norm when we were growing up. Not on TV, because this is a heterosexual world. If you want to be in a situation where you want to eliminate a whole race of people, what do? You turn them into one another, and you make it seem like they're attracted to man on man and woman on woman, where they can't reproduce one another. So that's one way that you can wipe out a whole race of people, is not allowing them to reproduce.
Absolutely.
Now, going back to that situation of Robert Kelly, he got 30 years, right? And he still have to be sentenced in other states. But people don't realize they're not going to run it consecutive. They're not going to run the time consecutive, because the 30 years that he received in the Fed is going to supersede any time that he has in any state, right? So all that time is going to be concurrent. And anybody who knows anything about the Feds, they're able to work programs where they can cut time. So he won't do a whole 30 years. Even though it says you have to do 85% of the time, he will be able to work programs where it'll be able to take 6 months here, a year here, 15 months here, whatever the case may be, and he'll be out, I want to say, in probably about 15 years. You know what I'm saying? That's still a lot of time, but it is what it is.
Do you think that within that time, let's say he's blessed to be released back out in the world within the next 15 years,
Mm-hmm.
do you think he will be okay coming into the new civilization he'll be seeing after spending, the knowledge power years inside? Do you think that the impact he will have on the world musically be the same as it was in the beginning, or less than, or maybe even better? Because maybe he might have a new message.
My thing is, with R. Kelly, you got to think about one thing when it comes to R. Kelly. All his, he has nothing but classics.
Absolutely.
Peace, how you, Dion? He has nothing but classics. And being the fact that he has nothing but classics, and a lot of his songs had messages in it.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? This is prior to his last couple of albums, which when he was, you know what I'm saying?
He's a killer.
Yes,
he is. He is a brilliant artist.
Definitely brilliant
Absolutely.
artist. So you think about, his music is timeless. His music is ageless. The music that he made in the early 90s, you can play right now in 2022, and everybody's just going to lose their mind. You know what I mean? So his skills, his artistry, and everything else, you know what I'm saying, is definitely going to live forever. So it's not like he has to come out and make music, because his music is already timeless. His music has already stamped.
Now, let me ask you, think about this. Let's go back with the OJ thing. They took away everything from OJ that he did, all from high school to college. Damn near tried to erase his whole history.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we all know that R. Kelly has a legacy and catalog phenomenal. What people fail to realize, and I know this, and I'm going to say this, and I don't care if the industry likes it or not, because you know you're doing it. You're still getting rich while that man is inside doing his time.
Right, because he don't own his collection.
So anytime an R. Kelly record is played on the air or somewhere where it's picked up, that is residual for them, and it's also still residual for him, because he still has his legal rights as far as a writer. Now, what some of y'all don't realize, he's still going to be financially okay, because the songs that he has written for other artists, when they go and perform, unless he signed a different type of contract, he's still getting paid. So the man will still be able to make bread and live right for himself by the time he gets out. Like I said, I separate the music from the man and the man from the music. I don't condone what he did, you know what I mean? And I look at, like I said, you and I, we talk about R. Kelly. I'm an R. Kelly fan of his music. I'm an R. Kelly fan of his entertainment ship. because he's a hell of an entertainer, you know. And I don't know, Queen. I don't know if he got married or not. Don't know.
I thought his wife came on that TV show.
That was his ex-wife. That's his ex-wife.
Well, I don't know. Even with that, I blame her. I blame the parents. I blame the individuals that was around him. He didn't have individuals that was around him to correct his errors. He had a bunch of yes men that was around him and allowed certain things to go on. When you care for someone, you know what I'm saying? Not his backup dancer wife.
That's exactly who she was.
Right.
That's exactly who she was. And it's funny because I watched that document, right? She talked all mad ill about her husband. And then later on, there's a video where she's in a car or wherever being interviewed talking about he's still a great man. He's a genius musically, blah, blah, blah. You know, he's the father of my children and all this and that. So what are you saying? You got the money for the show to do what you did to blast him down, but yet now you here turn around and you're defending him. So your credibility to me is worth nothing to me. I can't sit there and say I'm gonna listen to R. Kelly's ex-wife talk more about R. Kelly at 7:00 p.m. Absolutely not. I won't turn in. I won't tune in at all.
I tell you, it's crazy because like even with the comments, he was engaged to one of the girls that he's supposed to be abused to. You know what I mean? She was on, like Akila saying, she was on a date with another man.
Absolutely,
like,
absolutely.
And the thing, and I'm gonna say this, like, and I'm gonna be honest, his wife was uncute, very much so uncute, and I think that she went along with whatever the situation was. You can't tell me that he's been harboring females in your house for a year, 2 years, 3 years, or whatever the case may be.
Saying nothing.
And you ain't saying nothing, but she could dance.
Hey, wait.
That's good. That's a good one. But you can't tell me that somebody's in your house, locked up in your house for a year, 2 years at a time, 3 years at a time, and you don't know they're there. At no point in time do you go downstairs and say, I'm going downstairs. You know what I mean? Like, or you don't hear no rumblings going on in your house and you're not going to check it out yourself. Like, we have to understand, like, yo, either we put ourselves in certain situations, and I think that maybe she was going to get caught up in conspiracy because, see, conspiracy holds as much as the charge itself, you know what I'm saying? If not, give you more time. So a lot of times people are afraid of the time and they flip. You know what I'm saying? It's no different than cats who are in the streets and they snitching. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the reason why she did what she did, because she was going to be held accountable too, because you're in the house with all these things that are going on. When he was having the situation with Sparkle's niece, the little 13-year-old girl that he gave the golden shower to, she was in that house. You know what I'm saying? All these things that transpired and videoed in that house, you're in that house. So at any given time, you're caught up in conspiracy. Conspiracy after the fact is just as high of a felony as the act itself. And individuals don't even realize that. You know what I mean? Peace to the God, Lord.
Sure, what's good, God? How you been? Long time.
It's the reality. You don't sit up there and think that just because you had no involvement in it and it was in your home, it's in your home. They're going to think that you had some inkling of things that go on in your home, and if you don't, then they're going to think there's something wrong with you. You know what I'm saying? So at no given time do you sit there and be like, yo, they raping girls downstairs in my basement. I don't know nothing about it. You know what I'm saying? Them girls is down there for a year. And next thing I know, Cass is running in and out the crib. You know what I'm saying? And they going to the basement, coming back weak or sleepy or whatever the case may be. And you don't know what's going on in your house. Now, these young girls, and it was funny to me watching the documentary, how come the older women wanted to be locked up in the house? That was the crazy thing. Like, he had the older female that was in her 30s. She wanted to be there. You know what I mean? She wanted to be there. He didn't, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying he didn't want her, You know what I'm saying? Because she was too old or whatever the case may be. But it was the whole point. He dealt with older females too. You know what I'm saying? And that's another thing. Like,
absolutely, quick.
absolutely.
But put the Underground Railroad tunnel.
Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But even with that, it's like you look at the parents and you say to yourself, I have a 16-year-old daughter, right? And it's like, I don't know who that is. If individual wants to take her on the road, you think she's going by herself? You understand what I'm saying? Like, you think she's going by herself without a parent, without, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to do that. And on top of that, I'm not going to be calling the police talking about I need a wellness check. Bump a wellness check. I need 911 to come because the ambulance is going to get to work because I'm coming up in there. You know what I mean?
That's me.
And like Akila's saying, the moms was down with it. You can't tell me that they wasn't down with it. The fathers was down with it. The families were down with it. Well, I think the whole thing was once he stopped paying them, because there was a lot of money being, you know what I'm saying, passed through. Once he stopped paying them, that's when it became an issue. Now you want your daughter back home. Now you want this, that, and the third. The reality of it is, you know what I'm saying? If you loved your child, love your child, you know what I'm saying? You sacrifice for your child. Your child don't sacrifice for you. That's the sign. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, money changes situations and things, but the reality of being a parent should supersede all the above.
Anything. Right? You know what I mean?
When we're talking about you think you're gonna rape my children? I have grown daughters. You put your hands on my grown daughters, I'm gonna do something.
Absolutely. There's no excuse. You can't tell me nothing. The police can't tell me, oh, let the police handle it. I'll tell you what, you go handle it your way because I'm gonna handle it mine. I ain't got time to I'm not abiding by your rules and regulations when it comes to a violation of my children.
First of all, I'm not even calling the police.
No, I have to tell them because if things were found out, somebody else may call. Yo, I'm telling you right now.
I'm not having a conversation.
I put that on everything.
It's not even something for me to discuss. You do something to my child, I'm not calling the police.
No.
The police is the last thing on my mind for the simple fact is they're not going to feel the same way I feel because it's my child. You understand what I'm saying? And Absolutely. See, this is where the translation of parenting have been lost when it came down to this situation, when it comes down to R. Kelly.
True indeed.
Now, then when we're talking about individuals who were around him, like that worked for him, that was his boys, people that was in the entertainment business. You know what I'm saying? People that was in the entertainment business that actually worked with him and seen all these things go down. Nobody never said anything to him. You know what I'm saying? They
was intertwined within themselves. They was intertwined in it too.
Yeah, they was dealing with the same situation. So this tells you straight up and down how twisted the music industry can be. Because if you go back into history, I think we had this conversation earlier, had the conversation with Akila earlier, had the conversation with Born earlier about listen to the music. LL going to the high school and Brenda got a big old butt. BBD talking about, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. BBD talking about, you know what I'm saying, the juvenile females. Keith Sweat, you may be young, but you ready. You know what I'm saying? These are priming up songs for little girls, you know what I'm saying? And enticing to little girls to make them feel that they are women. So when they can deal with men, you know what I'm saying, in certain fashions, and it's wrong. And it's wrong. Yeah, Rick James was only 17, and then also too, Music Soul Child got a song called 16, where it talks about when he was having relationship with a 16-year-old girl. So when you're talking about, like, you listen to these songs, but we're so caught up in the beat and the music, and we partying and we getting stimulated, we drinking and smoking, or whatever the case individuals are doing, they're not listening to the words of the song. You're talking about having sex with a 16, 17-year-old little girl, and you're a grown-ass man.
Shit.
Yeah, Keith Sweat told on himself.
God. Yeah, R. Kelly told on himself too in the first album. The first album, Vibe. When you talking about Vibe, and he mentioned Aaliyah's name in the song. Aaliyah's got it. Yes, she's vibe. She's got that vibe. You know, so we sing to these things, and a lot of people, like you said, sometimes people don't pay. I'm a person, because me being a writer and a lyricist, I listen to a lot of the word plays too, and a lot of the old school songs, man, that I was like, yo, I take it back, Teddy Pendergrass to, you know, the Whispers, Shy Lights, when they were singing about true love in the minute and the makings of things. And then we come along, everybody was started changing the narratives about it. It went from making love to we getting ready to do sex in the kitchen. We get ready to poop and grind. You know what I mean? You know, but and I grew to an understanding of it. I was like, yo, because sometimes when you feel a certain way, like I don't always want to make love to my lady. I just might want to smash. You know what I mean? But that's my lady. I'm just saying, you know, certain mood swing, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to use them same principle on somebody 20 years younger than me. That ain't even happening.
Oh yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like with Puffy, May, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And then Raider Killer, the situations are not new, because we said in the beginning of the show, like individuals were pulling up to the high schools in the Jeep. Yeah, K, that was TMI. You know what I'm saying?
It's real to real. It's real to real. Gotta be real to real.
Yeah, that was a little TMI. That's how you would have kept. That's how it is. But the reality of it is when you look at things and you as for what they are and not what they appear to be. None of the, you know what I'm saying, none of the things that are going on or he was dealing with are foreign. You know what I'm saying? And none of that is foreign, because individuals, like I said, was pulling up to the school. You know what I'm saying? Grown men were pulling up to the school, pulling off with young girls, right? Drug dealers were snatching up little young girls, and because they was in a financial bond and they was looking at the money, they was looking at the jewelry, they was looking at the cars or whatever the case may be. Now, going forward, he was still doing it. Nas spoke on it when he dissed Jay. You know what I'm saying? How Jay was messing with Foxy, and she was only 15. You know what I'm saying? So it's the music industry is twisted, and you have to be very careful and very mindful of what you're dealing with when you're going into these type of situations. And I don't wish 30 years on nobody. That's a lot of time, and I'm not saying that it's not deserving, but the reality of it is, if he getting 30 years, the individuals that was around him or seen it or was a part of coercing these little girls or whatever the case may be, need to get time right along with him. I don't think he should do that time by himself.
Harvey Weinstein get time.
Hey, when that, hey, you know how the devil take care of their own. The devil fight for their own. You know what I'm saying? So the devil fight for their own. So being the fact that the devil fights for their own, you know what I'm saying? We have to be in a situation where, if you remember when we was in school, they always said that we had to work twice as hard as the devil.
Twice as hard.
In everything that we deal with. You know what I'm saying? Educationally, athletically, you know what I'm saying? Financially, everything, we have to be twice as good at all times. Right? So to even compare, you know what I'm saying, a Hugh Hefner, you know what I'm saying, or Harvey Weinstein or anything about that, it's definitely something that you have to be mindful of. When you put yourself in the spotlight, you have to move in a certain situation. You know what I'm saying, in a certain direction. Even like we're small time, like with Real2reel, but when you're in a situation, we have to move in a certain direction, certain way, because people are watching, and you never know who is looking at you. You know what I mean? So to be in a situation where he was the limelight, he was the man, he's the king of R&B behind the wall. He's the only individual that they say that cannot go on a versus with anybody. Like nobody can challenge R. Kelly on a versus, right? And like right, Akila, like the musical geniuses are dead. Michael Jackson and Prince. He is the next musical genius. So who can you honestly say, okay, he's not gonna, do his thing? You have to be very mindful of that. You know what I'm saying? Like wherever you move, whatever you're dealing with, however it goes down, people are watching you. People are watching you. And
I would still. Would you go out and support him if he came out with a new joint? Would you go? Would you listen to it?
yeah, I listen to it right now.
No, I'm just saying. In future tense, if R. Kelly was to come out and say, "Ladies and gentlemen, Robert Kelly has a brand new single," well, I'll be the first one. I'll be the first one to chop it.
First of all, his music has nothing to do with his
what's going on. Yeah,
right.
But they say
they tried to cancel R. Kelly before he got arrested and all this other stuff. You cannot cancel R. Kelly. You can only incarcerate R. Kelly. I was listening to Sirius XM and it was playing some of this stuff today. You know what I mean? So that was crazy. You know what I mean? Like that was crazy, right?
Pardon my facial expression. I'm trying to do the knowledge of this right here.
Yeah. Rushing, yeah. But Paz K his OR end up being rushed to the hospital, so he have to come back on. And we're gonna build with him soon. You know what I mean? But yeah, Paz K was definitely on a whole nother level way before these new dudes. You know what I'm saying? Right. And the reality of it is, man, you cannot cancel him. You know what I'm saying? Do you know how many babies that were made off of R. Kelly? Like how many romantic conversations? Like dudes used to sit up and have conversations with their wisdoms on the phone with R. Kelly in the background. You know what I'm saying?
The secrets away, Josh.
Man, I'm 50 years old, man. I ain't worried about none of that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not worried about that.
Giving the secrets away,
man. Shoot.
Man, go on. I don't see nothing wrong with a little bump and grind,
man. Listen, peace to the God. Like the reality of it is this, man. Like when you going through the situation as young dudes, you know what I'm saying? We always had that music in the background growing up. You know what I'm saying? It was either Gerald Levert, Keith Sweat, Shalimar, Barry White, Teddy P. You know what I'm saying? R. Kelly. You played these type of music because it set the tone for the conversation that you was having with the opposite sex. You know what I'm saying? So who can you play now while you're on the phone with a female? You don't have that.
No. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
No, I hear that shit.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. May not be to the full extent, but we still got. Listen. You can't take away my uncle. Uncle Charlie, baby. Uncle Charlie.
Man, listen.
Listen. Now, Uncle Charlie been around a long time, bro, and the music he's making.
Hold on. Look at it. Born Professor used to have R. Kelly playing in the background on the voicemail. You know what I'm saying?
Who was he trying to catch? The solicitors? Hey, this is Robert Jones calling in for a Fisher hook. How do you want me?
Yo, but the reality of it is that's what it was, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, true.
So it's what it is, man. You know what I mean? So everything is real under the sun.
All right, so here we go. My question to you and Akila and Born. All right, best R. Kelly album.
Right.
Best R. Kelly album.
Man. Yeah, he made it fun. I can't really say the best album because he has so much. Like
for real.
I can't say which one was better than the other one. You know what I'm saying? Everybody gravitates to 12 play.
Absolutely.
Everybody gravitates to 12 play, right?
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
But I like double up. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I like 12 play too. You know what I mean?
But give me your best R. Kelly album. Mine is 12 play, hands down.
I can't.
Hands down.
I can't.
Every song on that album, every song was a major hit.
Right. I cannot sit here and say this album for me was better than that album. You understand me? I can tell you certain songs.
Absolutely. Classic song right there.
Classic songs. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a bad man. Double up. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a bunch of songs.
Yes. R. Kelly, I'll agree. No, I got to put this up. I got to put it up there.
Yo, I'm gonna tell you something. Hold on. I want to take this time right now. My brother Rasheem Griffin, right? Sidney Poitier, right there. We grew up like me and Bourne did, around the corner from each other. That's Professor Griff's nephew. We've been knowing each other. We've been knowing each other since little kids, and I want to salute him because he's a hell of a father. You understand me?
Peace to the God.
He's a hell of a father, whereas he has his sons. All his sons are productive, all of them. You know what I'm saying? He just had a son graduate high school. He had a son in the Olympics. His young man, his daughter's doing great. His son graduated down here at Morgan. And we come from the streets. We come from the gutter. We come from nothing. And he refused to allow his children to go through the same struggle. And he wasn't with, you know what I'm saying, the parent, the mother. He co-parented. He gave the blueprint to co-parenting and how you can make that successful. So I wanted to salute him, you know what I'm saying, while he's on, you know what I mean? Because you know it's always love, family. You know
Absolutely.
what I'm saying? It's always love,
I'm
man.
gonna correct you though. I'm gonna correct you. I know what you mean when you signs when you say where you come from nothing, but you was always something. You was always something in a nothing environment. You was always something.
Actually,
you came from greatness. Your mother Earth, may she forever be blessed. You came from greatness. Your father, may he ever rest in love. You came from greatness during a time of hardship when nothing was to say nothing was the norm, but you was always something because you made a presence since day one.
No doubt. But you know, like I said, like when it came down to certain things, man, and I've been watching my brother, you know what I'm saying, Rasheem, you know what I'm saying, and his sister and his little brothers, you know, and I watched, like, we was on like, and it's no mystery. I don't, you know what I'm saying? And it's no mystery. We was on the corner, you know what I'm saying? We was on the corner. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Peace, absolutely.
And you know what I'm saying? We went through the belly of the beast and everything else. You know what I'm saying? And the words of Jay, you know what I'm saying? I went through the shit so you don't have to. You know what I mean? And you can see that in Rasheem with his children. And I don't care where he is in North America. When they need him, he's there. He's there. You know what I'm saying? And that right there is true fatherhood. So I want to salute Rasheem, you know what I'm saying? My brother, man, you know, I love you, man. And you know what I'm saying? Like I said, we go back a long way, man. And I appreciate what you're doing, man. And your babies are doing great. Proud of them. And yo, he got one son that's gonna be a model. Yo, that joker, you should see him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, because you know, Rasheem them got them blue-green eyes and shit. You know what I mean? So you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he got them working out. Yo, he got a son, man. When you talk about a bull on the football field, like, man, come on, man. It's crazy. But you know what I mean? Again, you know what I'm saying? Salute you, Rasheem. I just want to take the time and say appreciate you, fam. You know what I'm saying?
You look like marbles.
More Professor retarded.
Yo, so if we get back, right? So we talking, R. Kelly, we talking about 30 years and understanding. I think that it's ridiculous for us to even go into a system or to have a certain type of system where you already talking, all right, with the feds. We already understand how the feds law and order works, supersedes anything state and lower, you know, but to keep going through this thing and still want to be tried for the same thing. So whatever happened to can't be tried twice for the same crime?
Well, the whole thing they're gonna
make it different. Exactly. So still to me, it's a bunch of bullshit. I'm just gonna be real. It's a bunch of BS going on with that. I mean, 30 years already stripping from this man's life.
But see, one thing you got to realize, one thing, his trial was public. He was charged guilty, found guilty once that TV docuseries hit. You know what I'm saying? That was a major influence for anything else. So that made him look like a menace, right? And to a degree, people have to understand one thing. He's a pedophile. He's a pedophile because he likes little girls. Mm-hmm. And there's no cure for pedophilia. There isn't. I don't care how much time you give an individual. There's no cure for pedophilia. And pedophilia is only wrong when they're black. A couple of years ago, they was trying to make pedophilia legal. They was trying to make it legal because white guys were doing that. You know what I'm saying?
Indeed. I got to put this up, God.
Right.
The God says, I refuse to let my children grow up in the system. I refuse to let my kids be a part of these streets. I refuse to let another man take care of my kids when I know that's my job. Whatever I had to do, that's what I did. My father taught me that. Professor Griff taught me that. Peace.
That's it.
Peace. Actual facts.
And you know what I mean? That's the reality. You know what I mean? That's what we have in the black community. That's what we had in my community. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I always say that everything is a choice. People make excuses for whatever the situation is. That's a choice. That's a choice that to do whatever you're dealing with. We made decisions to have children. So that's a choice that we made. So we have to do what we need to do to make sure that they're straight. That's our responsibility.
I need you to give me more on your self-style wisdom on when you say that there's no cure for pedophilia. Well, give me a better understanding on that from your perspective.
There is no only cure for pedophilia is either incarceration or I'm not incarceration. When they take your penis.
Oh, decapitation.
Decapitation. That's the only thing that's going to stop you from being attracted to little or acting on attraction to little girls. You understand me? Is that there's no cure. There's no known cure for pedophilia.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Got that.
There is no known cure.
I was getting ready to tell you, I got a cure for it.
Yeah. The whole thing is
castration.
That's castration. Yeah. Yo, man, I'm glad to see you back on, man. Back on your feet.
Word. Peace is born. Peace and blessings. Yes.
So, you know what I mean? When you're talking about, you know what I'm saying, individuals who mess with little girls, that's what it is, man. Mm-hmm. So him being incarcerated, there's no little girls around him. So now he has to fight off, you know what I'm saying, his mind telling him no with grown men. You know what I'm saying? But
that was good. That was good.
The reality of it is there is no cure for pedophilia. You know what I'm saying? There is no cure. So if he's attracted to little girls, you know what I'm saying, he has to undergo some medical stuff, whereas he doesn't get, you know what I'm saying, any erection. But then individuals who go through that situation, whereas they become, you know what I'm saying, where they don't get an erection, they become violent. Mm-hmm. They become aggressive when it comes down to females. See, that's the whole thing of being
you're dealing with a dual-edged sword in that manner.
Dual-edged sword. Yeah. And right, Akila, that is a mental illness.
Yeah.
You understand me? That's a mental illness. So being the fact that that's a mental illness, you're dealing with certain things, and it's like you have to be mindful of that. So, but we make excuses for the, you know what I'm saying? We make excuses for things.
Absolutely.
When we're doing wrong, we are justified by something happened down here. No, what happened down there, you should address down there so that you can go through your healing process and move forward. But we, as Black people, we're ashamed of saying we need to see therapists, and we can have mental illnesses or whatever the case may be, not realizing that every black person that walks this planet Earth has some type of mental illness.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially if you grew up in an urban community, 9 times out of 10 you have PTSD because you was involved in certain activities. I have triggers. I know I have PTSD, and I've never been to the military, but I have triggers. You know what I mean?
Well, and you know what, man? Everybody's using that terminology. And back in the days, it was truly what is called shell shock. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and it's only been transformed that because of the military to change the PTSD. But in all actuality, everybody has a shell shock moment, especially the black man and woman and child.
That's it.
So to be mindful of that, what you're saying is absolute. You
know what I mean? So we're dealing with that type of trauma. You know what I'm saying? You think about being as a young dude on the corner, you know what I'm saying, selling drugs or whatever the case may be. Do you not realize what you're seeing and indulging in? A lot of times people are getting robbed, people are getting beat up, people are getting shot, people getting stabbed. You know what I'm saying? Females selling their bodies, females smoking crack and they're pregnant. You're seeing a whole lot of different things that are going on, and that's traumatic.
Absolutely.
That's traumatic. You know what I'm saying? And people take that street element and they bring it a part of their culture. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Of course, that's something that we have spoke about there. We definitely need to. They definitely need to get after the parent. Yeah. But the reality of things, you know what I'm saying? You have to be mindful. That's just like and domestic violence, born. The worst thing in the world is like nowadays, the biggest turnoff is a hood chick. The hood chick who want to be your homeboy. That's that street drug dealer element shit that individuals don't realize. That's a turnoff. Don't no man want his homeboy. If he do, then he gay. If you just as tough as a man, or you trying to go as hard as a man, you know what I'm saying? What man is going to want to deal with you outside of, you know what I'm saying, knocking you down, you know what I'm saying, bending you over, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, beware. We down to our 3-minute countdown. And, it's always something, but we good. This is, it took this from where we was being interviewed. We took it. We continued it on to this segment here, and it
also
always
be mindful. We have to apologize, but where we can't really apologize because you can't help what happened. Exactly. Like I said, we sending positive energy out to Positive K and his family, wishing that his mother gets well, and he will be rescheduled to come on Real2reel360. Like I said, we have to apologize for that he didn't show, but he's taking care of his mother, which is more admirable, and we can definitely understand that. So again, Positive K, you know what I'm saying, hold your head. Real2reel360, we support you, and look forward to you coming on.
If need be, where we are. You know what I mean? So, ladies and gentlemen, you have heard the Guards building like we do. Builders build on all aspects, all 4 corners of the square, and all 8 points. So we touch from the north to south, to east and west. We hope that you love it because this show is the best right here. So without a doubt, thank you all our listeners, and definitely thank you for our panel. Okay.
Also, too, all our followers, go to the Real2reel360 YouTube page. Subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Subscribe, like, and subscribe so you can get the notification for every show that we do. This week coming up, it's going to be monumental. You're not going to want to miss the state representatives from Pennsylvania. You're not going to want to miss the Whispers. You're not going to want to miss King's Son. So go to our YouTube page, Real2reel360 YouTube page. That's REAL2REEL360, and like and subscribe to Real2reel360 so you can be up on everything that we got.
True indeed. Our contact. That's little Swans. So yeah, we are down to the minute signs right now.
So we out of here.
If y'all missing anything, it's right up here on the board. Peace to the queen and beautiful earth, Akila. Love you, sis. But your comments is always welcome with warm hearts and laughter. I'm glad. And Born P, you're a nutcase too. We love you. Everybody that has made their comments known, make their points known, man. We love y'all all. We thank you for this because this is about, we are about our community. We are about our people. And like we said, you know, we took this baby project and took it, and now it's doing what it's doing. And we love y'all for supporting us. Yes, I am. All right. You know, so again, keep tuning in, keep liking, keep sharing. By all means, talk to your friends and so on and so on. Be like that old school shampoo commercial, or no, what's the Wind song, and so on and so on and so on. So you know, let it be known we are making a difference, and I want to say that we are making such a difference that we have reached out internationally like none other. I don't know how many other podcast shows are doing some of the things that we've doing the way we've done, but I've seen a couple of them lately that started following suit to the way we do. See, we not followers, we trendsetters. You know, we doing what we doing because it's time. It's been long overdue to talk about community relationship. It's been long overdue to talk about what's real versus keeping shit inside to destroy you instead of releasing that negative energy to become positive. I want to say, God, I got to give you a special shout out for all the prison reform host guests that we've had on here. I've had some brothers. I was actually in the street and a brother came up to me and he was asking, could I help him out and this and that and that. And he was telling me he just got out the belly not too long ago. And, you know, he was looking for work. I said, listen, I said, there are prison reform joints out here, programs. So all you got to do is go down to the local spot and look and see. So they take care of you. You out here, you know, I ain't gonna say begging, but you out here trying to make a living off of somebody else. Make that living on yourself and get back into it and do it. So I blessed him with a little bit, and he was like, "Peace, I enjoy that." No doubt, peace, God.
And yo, we out of here, man, because I got to go.
You got to go. Yeah. So
you know
just like I said,
I'm gonna tell you right now, K is long-winded. You know what I'm saying? And he get on, you know what I'm saying, this Deacon Jones shit. You know what I'm saying? They want to be here for another hour, man. We out of here, man. Don't
forget, y'all, there's another special show coming up where Josh Jamel twerks. But I wasn't gonna let that out. But oh man, we gotta go. Love y'all. We out of here.
You see me, motherfucking twerk.
Fuck that. Yo, ladies and gentlemen, we're starting to come to the end of the show.
Simple
we take the time out and thank our guests for coming on. Also, too, we want to make sure that y'all listening and subscribing, and tell a friend and keep sharing, because we're gonna keep bringing y'all the real content. You know what I mean? So DJ KY, brother, take us up out of here, son. Peace.
I want to give a big shout out to the nation of gods and earth, to all the human families on planet Earth. I say peace. But you are subscribers, those who continue to watch and listen to the show each and every time we come on. I give a big shout out of love, peace, and happiness. To be the man, woman, and child of the you and I first. It's time for us to disperse. We bring the best, not the worst. We thank you once again for tuning in to the Real 360. Bring a friend to hit that like and subscribe, so we continue to grow to bring more knowledge and wisdom to you upon our show. You make it possible for us to do what we do